Okay, this video is just the channel milestones for this YouTube channel for the year 2025. Some of the stuff you heard before, I'll be pretty brief about it if you've watched a lot of videos here. You know, basically my role models are Aristotle to summarize the useful knowledge, St. Thomas Aquinas to be the unifier of faith and reason. The bottom line is if you don't have Christian ethics, everything goes into the garbage can because then everybody starts lying for money. And there's a lot more money to be made by lying than by telling the truth. Christian ethics say you tell the truth. It also says you respect the pros, okay? If you don't have that, like I can tell you, the rich people, I know a lot of rich people too, they have no respect for the pros, okay? They consider the pros like stupid farm animals, okay? So Christian ethics says that we're all created in the image of God, equal in the eyes of God. You know, basically a continuation of the Dr. John McDougall low-fat, starch-based vegan diet with no oil. It's the healthiest diet that's been shown through Kempner, through Burkett, through Esselstyn, etc. For viewers, I prefer you comment on YouTube rather than send me emails just because I look at my YouTube every day. I don't look at my email that often. Someone asks a question, best to just ask a general question. What is, you know, the side effect of caffeine or something? I don't like to person when they ask me too many personal questions about themselves because I can't be your doctor. I'm just a teacher on telehealth. I don't do telehealth one-on-one. I just do this as a hobby. My channel's not even monetized. I do not have a telehealth practice. Okay, so I can answer a general question, you know, what's the cause of coronary artery disease? Okay, but I can't answer your question specifically, should I go for a stent or should I go for a cabbage or what should I do? I'm not going to do that. The channel focus is the same, you know, main focus is provide good nutrition and health information. Also, you know, teaching study skills is a hobby of mine. I wrote 4 books on that. Doing book reviews, whatever I read, if I think it's worth making a review, I'll make a review of it. A lot of art history because I love art. And I teach a lot about, you know, cultural appreciation, history of Western civilization, of Christianity, music, and all that. And just for perspective, if anybody cares, my typical day off, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be working on a book chapter. I always do whatever is most complex in the morning. I'll crank book chapters till early afternoon, then I get a little burnout. I'll usually exercise, nothing exciting. I'm usually walking on a treadmill reading because I'm planning for my next book or for the book I'm writing. Lift weights a little bit, nighttime, girlfriend will make me dinner, watch an educational video, rinse and repeat the next day. I mean, so that's about it. That's my kind of boring life, but I like it. I like it that way. The views on this channel went up this past year from 2.8 to 5 million, which sounds nice, but it's really kind of a joke. You know, the high-fat phonies, they'll get 1 million views on one video. My channel is totally shadow banned, totally ostracized. I'm not welcome anywhere just about. That's because I tell the truth and I'm Christian, okay? And I know that non-Christian stuff, it stinks, okay? Most of these famous doctors are just promoting stuff and selling stuff. And if you don't know that, then that means you're ignorant. Best video I made this year, I think my favorite one was the one about membrane ion pumps with the metaphors. I thought that was beautiful. If you're interested at all in neurophysiology, that's the secret right there. Once you have that, it's like you need a certain concept before you can grasp neurophysiology. And what usually everybody breaks down is they can't handle membrane ion pumps. But once you see all the metaphors I made, they're so beautiful and elegant with paintings and all this stuff, you'll crush membrane ion pumps, and all of the rest of neurophysiology is wide open to you if you want it. Okay, what's the biggest new thing this year? Well, I went into way more detail on mitochondrial inhibitors. I was kind of motivated, you know, as I saw their major cause of atrial fibrillation, major cause of neurodegenerative disease, of course, dementia, cognitive decline, but also Parkinson's and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that got me interested in kidney failure and all that stuff. Also the dental stuff. So I'll show you real quick this book. I wrote 10 books this year, almost, you know, this one, Food, Mood, and IQ, just came out at the end of last December. So it's almost like related to this year. I did videos of it this year. This is a great book. This is the best book ever written in the history of the world about the brain. And I pointed out, you know, the reality of what's real in psychology and psychiatry and neurophysiology, and all the cognitive decline stuff is in there, and including all my theories of spine. I'm the best doctor in the world for cognitive decline of the brain and for spinal degeneration and causes of back pain and all that stuff. I made a book summarizing all the Christian songs, best Christian songs, just because I'm afraid they're all going to be deleted from the internet. Basically, we are, you know, we're like when the Roman Empire was sacked right now. Western civilization is collapsing, and I'm almost like I'm putting all this stuff into a time capsule so civilization could be saved. Hopefully it will be saved, you know. I don't know, because sort of Western man has been so feminized and pussified, and, you know, the communists are so damn smart, and they're so damn rich, and they just constantly promote all their lies and BS, and the average stupid pro believes it. And so that's why, we're headed back into civilization collapse and barbarism and slavery, okay? And, take a look at the Soviet Union in the 1900s, okay? That's where things are headed. And hopefully it won't go there, but that's where it's headed. Okay, prevent and reverse obesity, all the stuff about that. So each time I write a book, I try to do a bunch of new stuff, but then a lot of it is old stuff too. The old stuff never goes away. It's the truth, Prevent and reverse hypertension. These are all books that I wrote this year. So these are just milestones for this year. Prevent and reverse diabetes. And all of these books, I wouldn't write them if they weren't the best thing ever written on these subjects, okay? If you read conventional medical books, they're such a joke. If you really know anything, you want to vomit when you see one of those books. They're just nonsense. No one knows what causes this disease. It's associated with aging. Seems to be part genetic sometimes. Might be due to socioeconomic disparity or racism. It's like all bullshit. Kiss my ass. The poorest people in the world, they never have these diseases if they eat a low-fat plant-based diet. Okay, you should not respect conventional medicine textbooks. They're a disgrace. Internal medicine in the Western world is fake. Okay, let's just be honest. It is. It's so stupid and wrong. It's a joke. It's embarrassing. Okay, prevent and reverse kidney disease. Okay, you talk to a conventional kidney doctor, they won't know anything about nutrition. They won't know anything about it. It's embarrassing. It's shocking. They don't know who Kempner is. They don't know anything about low-protein diets. They really don't. It's shocking. You talk to a dietitian, they don't know anything. They've got this idea of the Mediterranean diet in their mind. Anybody says Mediterranean diet, it means they haven't studied. Mediterranean diet's the Antichrist diet. Promises salvation but doesn't deliver. Okay, prevent and reverse stroke and heart attack. So I went through all these things, and every time I add some new stuff, each one of these books has a bunch of new stuff in it, like an expanded chapters on drug-induced atrial fibrillation, expanded chapters on mitochondrial inhibitors, over 100 of them. About 110 of them, all the case reports on congestive heart failure reversal, not to mention that Kempner routinely reversed it. Okay, prevent and reverse dental disease. That was a lot of fun for me because I learned a lot doing that, and what I learned is dentistry is like a disaster, man. Almost everything they put in your mouth is toxic. It's like so bad, it's shocking. Update on autoimmune disease, and I had done a lot of studying this year on all the different types of allergic reactions, elimination diets, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and this book's actually like a masterpiece. It's like on the internet, no one cares about this book. I make a video about this, I get like 50 views, okay? But in real life, the smartest people you could imagine, they love this book. This is your heritage. This is where you come from. This is Western civilization, the greatest civilization. All this multiculturalism stuff is BS. Other cultures compared to Western civilization, they stink. They're backwards. You don't have to take my word for it. Study it for yourself. Where's their art? They've got nothing. Where's their architecture? They might have one or two half-decent buildings. They got nothing compared to the cathedrals. Nothing, okay? Where is their sculpture? Next to nothing. Where's their literature? Next to nothing compared to Western civilization. Where's their science and technology? They basically just copy Western civilization. They have almost nothing. And a few places, like a few things were invented in China, okay? But they couldn't develop anything. Their rulers wouldn't allow them to. The mandarins would say, no. They'll steal their intellectual property or they'll steal their business. So that's why no one could do anything. And that's how most of the world is. It's run by tyrannical dictatorships that don't let the people do anything. In the West, there used to be freedom, and the West led the whole world in everything cultural and intellectual, but now the West is losing its freedom. And you look, and like I said, Kempner had better results treating all the common Western diseases back in the 1940s and 1950s and 1960s than they do now. Think about that. That's what I mean by we're going backwards. Anyways, hopefully it's not too late to save things, and hopefully all this beautiful cultural history, literature, art, painting, sculpture, knowledge, wisdom, true scientific research, not the modern nonsense paid for by corporations. Hopefully it can be preserved and saved. So I'm writing my books, like Arthur Schopenhauer said. A genius writes books, and he's almost like a man alone on a desert island posting a monument for people to read someday when they visit. It's there. The truth is still alive. It's buried, it's suppressed, it's hated by the big corporations, but it's there. Low-fat vegan diet and everything that goes with it and all this cultural stuff. So I'm doing what I can to keep it alive. I hope you'll support it. If you want to be nice, write a review of one of my books. That's another thing. Look how weak the paroles are, how weak the Christians are. Somebody from another ethnic group writes some piece of shit book that's dishonest, and it'll have 1,000 reviews, okay? I write masterpieces that tell the truth, and I'll get, 5 reviews or something, or none. But, you know, as long as I'm alive, I got a heartbeat, I'll keep on trying to do these good things. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you find things helpful. I'll do the best I can to keep finding useful information for you.